Hi, it's Jez again from Nigezza Creates. Thank you for joining me today. So this is, I think, going to be the final bit of my altered book. Now, I've used the Truly Blue kit from Rach and Bella Crafts. So I didn't want a red cover. So I had a little think about what I could do. And I've done half of it, and I'm going to show you the process on the back. So I sort of turned it a bit bluey. Now I'm going to do more to this, but I wanted to have a bit of a nicer foundation. It's kind of cloth-like, this cover. It's probably not. It's probably just embossed paper. So what I did was I covered it in gesso. I was going to use acrylic paint, but then I thought that would give it like a bit of a shiny sheen. I didn't want that. So it's just gesso, and then I've put some ink on it. So I'm going to show you how I did that. She says, having things that I need over on the floor. So just been, I want to get this done because I want to take this to the retreat, and I have spent ages doing the swaps. The swaps are still not finished, unfortunately. So I needed to colour the inside as well as the outside. So I want to make sure that I don't get paint on the rest of it, so I sort of covered that lot a bit with another cereal liner. There we go. Use a bit of a binder clip, hold that in place. Now, this is the second time I've done an altered book and then painted the cover and left it to the end. It's maybe not the best time to do it, but that's just how I roll. So yeah, so I got a very small brush, and I carefully engage my glasses, and I just went round the edges. Now, I'm not too bothered if I go over the edge. I'd rather not. So with a small brush and a steady hand, I was able to cover. I'm not getting too much on my brush. And then of course I am going to ink as well. So any little gaps will be all right, because they'll get covered. So I'm just going up the sides as well. So all the way around. Just showing you that it's quite quick and not difficult. I haven't yet decided what I'm doing on this, and I've got like 48 hours really. Can't really afford to go to sleep. Although I'm doing this on Friday, and Ed informs me there's some football on. He said, will you be all right crafting tonight whilst I'm watching football? I'm like, yes. Oh, it's Friday night and I should really be going out, but I've got too much to do. And actually, with the fact that I'm going away, it's like I'm going to be going out every night for 4 nights, well, 5 nights, because we're going down. We're going to go nearly all the way, well, an hour away from it on Sunday night, so that we can not have very far to go on the Monday morning. Ed's coming with me because it's such a beautiful, relaxing place. He's coming along too, so we can have a little bit of a relax. yeah, so I haven't got long. So yeah, I'm not going out this weekend. I haven't really got time to cook dinner either, to be fair. Got time for nothing, got time to eat it. So there we go. Yeah, so I'm very excited. I did go a bit over the top on my swaps, I think, but hey ho. That's how I roll. I've just edited the video. Now, you will have seen it probably by now. If you haven't, why not? Go check it out. It's a long one. Speed it up. I took loads out in the editing process. Speeded bits up, but it's still about an hour and 15. But I didn't want to do a two-parter. So I just did a long one. I usually don't go over the hour. I usually try really hard editing videos and making them under an hour. Sometimes it takes me as long to edit as it did to film. And but I figured if you like me, you'll watch it on 1.5 speed and you sound okay. Sometimes I go to two times speed, so if you do that, it's not that long. So there we go. So that is all the way around the edges done with my wee brush. I don't know, I was just about to put the lid on that. I don't need to put the lid on that. Right, what I'm going to do now, I've got, because that's in place, that's not going to go anywhere. So now I want to cover this bit of the cover. So I've got a much wider brush here. And I'm just putting it over so it goes on really, really well. And it dries so you haven't got a shiny thing, which is why I went for this and not acrylic paint. It goes on quite quick, but then I'll have to leave it to dry. But I've got a job to do, so I thought I'll get this bit done and then I can leave it to dry whilst I'm doing my other little job, just thinking about being really good with the time that I've got, being clever with it. Managed to get a whole blob on there. Didn't really want to do that, but there we go. Right, I've got a little crease there on the spine of the book. And I bought some ink the other day when I was out in the charity shop, which I think will go down the spine really nicely. I've also got a nice scarf, which I thought I'd incorporate some of the fabric in that because it's well nice. Still see bits of that red through, but it will get covered up with the ink, so I'm not that bothered really. There we go. So that's that bit. Now the other bit that I want to do is on the inside of the spine here, but I'm not doing that at this point. I'm going to do that later. So I am just going to leave that now to dry, and we'll come back to it when it's done. Okay, so I think that's all nice and dry, and pulling it back, I can see that that must have stuck to it, so it's pulled a bit off, but no worries, because I am actually still needing to go over this section at the ends. So these little bits here need going over. That one I'm going to have to leave because it's that's fabric there. I might actually try really hard to sort that out. I'm wondering if I use this silicone brush, if I can get that in there. No, not that bit. So what I really need is something to go down in between there. There, if we opened it up, form a barrier, then I can paint behind. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm just looking here. Got a bit of dyed paper, something stuck on there. Don't want that. Yeah, just chuck it anywhere, Jez. I will. So let's push that back. Let's see what I'm doing. Get it in shot, Jez. So there is space there. Oh yeah, cooking on gas. Right. So now I've got that bit protected there. I should be able to get my brush and go down there. In theory. So I'm gonna do that. A little brush. I'll just go down there. Might not be perfect, but it will be as good as we're going to get. And then we're going to have to leave the bit of paper in place, I think, whilst it dries. Right, so now let's go down here and do this little bit here, there. And I think we're going to have to let the top bit dry before we do exactly the same on the bottom bit. So I'll leave that again. Gotta get on with something else now. Still got swaps to finish. Okay, so that one worked. A little bit of red still seeing there, but I think it's all right. So then I went ahead and did the other one, so that we could just get started. It does stick slightly, but it's okay. So there we go. And that's why you end up with a little bit of red, because it does stick. I might have been better off doing it with a bit of plastic. Anyway, I feel I could touch those bits up and it not be too bad. So that's all lovely and dry, and this is what we're sort of aiming for. A bit of a blue. I do want it a bit darker than that. So I took some blue ink. I did start with I've got a blue Distress Oxide. I can't remember which I can't actually see right now. Anyway, it didn't work. It was too light. So I've got this Misty Moonlight, which is a Stampin' Up blue, but I think this isn't dark enough either. I might have to change to something like Night of Navy. So I just used a little sponge dauber here to go around the edges, and as you see, the colour goes on really well. That gesso takes the colour really well, which is another good reason for using gesso as opposed to acrylic paints. I'm not sure if the colour would sink in that well to acrylic paint. So carefully going around those edges bits. Still undecided what I'm doing, because I just think it's a really nice colour, these end pages, that I might just do a bit of stamping and stenciling. Don't know. I've still got time to think about it. So I'm just gonna, where that's still red, I'm just going over like so. I don't really want to get that blue anywhere, Jez. Look, you've got it on your mat. I'm absolutely ruining my desktop. So there we go. So that was just going round the edges, and then I'm just going round here. To give good coverage like that, and then we may as well go around the top bit there and there. And then I got my blue brush, which I think must have run off with my blue ink, because I can't see it. Now I've put it somewhere. I remember now. I put it somewhere to be handy. There it is. And I found my distress ink. Yeah, so I did try Broken China, but let me show you. What Broken China looks like. I didn't think it was quite the colour I want. Misty Moonlight looks like that, slightly different shade, which I thought was better, but I still would quite like it darker. I quite like the mix of colour, so I think I'm gonna put a bit more of this around and sort of build up layers of colour. And I am going to add Night of Navy, because that's a really dark blue as well. So I've got that, and then I'm going to come in with this one. Building up that colour. And I think that gives a nice, so it's not flat. Don't want it to be flat. Going to go down this edge as well. I've got something that I'm thinking I'm going to put down the spine. So it is quite a bit darker this side to that side. I don't know if that's because it's dried. Oh, now that's bringing back out the indentation of the title of the book, which is fine because it's been covered up anyway. Definitely covering up this bit of the spine. Just want to have some colour down it. So I am just going to get a bit of cereal packet. Because I'm a bit afraid of completely covering my desk with blue ink, and I really don't want that. There we go. So what I'm going to do is get my navy ink, and add that into the mix. And I'm thinking about sort of like the edges of the books where you touch it a bit more. It's looking a little bit like sort of sky on a painting. Quite like it. Right, so we got that. So turn it over. Add a bit more of this on the other side. We've got there. The ink's not quite as dry. Yeah, this is the back of the book. And let's go down the spine a little bit. Right, just going to close up my ink before I end up with a right old blue mess. So I am liking that. Yeah, this is the front. I'm liking that. I can feel that the ink needs to dry, so I'm going to leave that to dry for a bit, and I'm going to think about what I'm going to do here on the inside of the cover. I'm just going to go down this edge a little bit. I will go over a bit with some Distress Oxide as well, actually. I think I'll do that now. Rather than leave it to dry a second time. So I'm going to go around the edges with this to make it look like years of dirt. I'm going to go down the edge here, but just try and pick up the bit that's sticking up. Yeah, I'm liking the way that's looking. Let's do it on to the side. Do some on the top edges. There. Right, going to leave that now, and we'll come back to that when it's dried for a bit. Okay, so this is all nicely dried, all looking good, and I decided, I did it off camera, to just do simple stenciling on the inside of the front and back cover. I thought the pages were sort of intact enough to, don't know what that gubbins is. There we go, have it off. Thank you. To do it, so I just used the stencil that I've used in the journal different times. That one, it really needs a wash now, and so I did it that way, across the thingy, and then reversed it that way, and used the blue ink on it. I always put a letter from the bookmaker in a book, and I thought, I've got this nice big pocket here, so I'll put it in there. So I'll put that inside there when it's done. Oh, have I got one ready? No, right, that's that. So what to put on the cover. So I bought a load of these this week from my local vintage charity shop. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, I got 5 of them. It was £2.50, so 50p each. Thought that was a bargain, and I picked it up, and then I went round in search of books, because I've got quite a few of these, but they're often far too big to go on a spine. But I thought that would look very pretty on the spine like that. And then I thought of a closure, so I have a reel of ribbon, and I thought this would work, but I thought I'd put it underneath. Oh, actually, now I'm laying that on top. Ooh, do I like it on top? And I just thought, just simple tie bow. Not going to put any, sometimes I put a little book plate with journal written on it, but I thought I'd just leave this one plain. Sometimes I like plain. And just do a simple bow. I'll tie it better than that when I'm doing it. I'm just doing it to sit now. I think I will go underneath. So we'll have that, and this will go over the top. I did buy a nice blue scarf, but it's quite sheer, and I'm running out of time a bit now, and I just thought I'm going to go for simple. That's what we're going for. So I'm going to get my fabric glue at the ready that I like to sit upside down. I'm going to get this jar here to sit it in. There we go. It's got a few paper clips in it, but that's fine. I just find it easier if it's upside down. So let's pull that round like so. So I just want to put some glue across the spine just to catch this around here. So I'm just gonna do this, and I'm just going to spread it around a little bit. And I'll just push that down like that. So I'm just going to move this to one side, because now I want to stick glue on the back of the different points on here to glue it down, and just hope it works, because it would be tragic to spoil everything at this stage. I think I've done this before when I've gone next time I'm going to do the cover first of an altered book. Excuse me, because if I mess up, then it's not such a tragedy, because it's only the cover. And here I am once again, finished my book, which I love. I haven't got time to enjoy it because I finished it, and I'm basically gonna give it to the recipient in a few days' time. So I suppose I've got a few days to look through it. But I quite like loving journals for a bit before I get rid of them. Not get rid of them, do you know what I mean? Although my garden journal, I didn't have that for long before somebody bought it, so. Yeah, go around these. This is beginning to hurt my hand now with the squeeze in. So I want to just do a few blobs on these bits. Right, that's what we're doing. And I'm gonna move it that bit so I haven't got big blobs. This usually dries without anything showing, but it's quite holy, so I am actually a little bit unsure about it on this. It's the sort of glue that you can leave for a bit, doesn't dry instantly, and the instructions do say to sort of put it on both surfaces and leave it for a few minutes before you bond, but I can't put anything on the other surface on account of the fact that we can't really tell where it's gonna be. Right, so that's still a little bit tacky, but it'll be good. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to aim for the sun. There's not an even number, is there? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So yeah, so if I go for 1, that's the top, and then split it at the bottom, that would be the halfway mark. So I'm heading for there. That gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, just double check it there. So there. That's where I'm going. So pulling that up. That's worked. Delicate work here, pulling this up. There. So we've got little blobs there. But hopefully they'll dry. And that will be fine. Give me a little bit of wiggle there because that's not straight. There we go. And I can always add a little bit more glue to some of these. And then right, that's pulling up. I'm going to put a bit more glue under here where the ribbon is, because that's where the tie is going to be. So I want a good stick there. I'm going to tie a bow. So that is how it's going to be. So that is how I finished the cover off. I might add a few little bits in these. I'm going to have a look and see if I've got some buttons in the middle of these flowers. Might be quite nice if I add some blue buttons, which I think I do. So I do have blue buttons here. And if I could find some that are similar, put a few buttons. They're not the same. They are. If I thought about it, I could have actually, they're quite nice that way around. Changing my mind now for them. If I've got or I could do different buttons. They're actually not the same. Yeah. So why don't I do a different button in each one? I think they're cool. So now I've just got to think of a glue that will stick buttons, but I quite like the look of that. Now, somebody said, I was watching somebody the other day and said art glitter glue was really good for sticking metal things down. So let's see if it will stick buttons down. Certainly put enough on there, Jez. If I'd thought about this, I could have sewn the buttons in place, but I didn't think about it. And it's not happened. So, we've got to glue. I'm not going to put it on the back. I'll just go in on the front in the middle of these flower bits in the doily. But it is making me think, if I use these doilies again, that I might sew the buttons on, because I like the look. Yep, I like it. I think that finishes it off nicely, those buttons. Don't need them on the back. And that's that. That's it done. So that is the end of my True Blue altered book. I will do a flip through in a separate video. And yeah, and I just hope the recipient likes it. So yeah, thank you for joining me, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Well, I'll see you in the flip through. Okay, bye for now.